Hi all beginner guitarists and those of you who are looking to start learning the guitar. I'd like to share with you some really valuable things that I wish I knew when I started out learning the guitar. My name is Shaw and I am a music and guitar educator, and I'd just like to share some things that are going to help you get a really strong start when learning the guitar. The three big considerations before you start learning the guitar. Make sure your guitar is in tune. Now this is a big one. If you're unsure about how to tune your guitar, don't worry, there's a link below and I'll show you how to tune the guitar using an electric tuner, but also how to use your ear and just the guitar itself to tune the guitar, which is a really great skill to learn how to do. Now the second big one is cut your fingernails. Now that might seem like a weird one, but you'll see when you start trying to learn chords why this is extremely important. Now when I say cut your fingernails, I mostly mean the fingers on the hand that you're going to play chords with. So if you're right-handed, then that'll be your left hand. Now the third one is just relax, because we play music, so don't stress. Learning guitar should be a really fun experience, so just relax your shoulders and shake it out. The first thing I want to share with you that's really valuable is how to read a chord box diagram. Now if you look at this chord box on the screen, you'll see that it's laid out just as if you're looking at the guitar like this. The 6 lines going down represent the 6 strings on the guitar. So the thickest string is on the left, going across to the thinnest. And that's for right-handed guitarists. And then you see the horizontal lines going across represent the nut of the guitar and the frets going across. Now if you see a circle on one of these frets, in between the frets and on one of these strings, that means that's where we place our fingers in order to play the chord. Now let's look at our first example. I want to show you the chord called E minor because it's arguably one of the easiest chords to play because it only requires that we play with 2 fingers. Now when I refer to the strings as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, that means the thinnest string is going to be called the first string, and second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth is the thickest string. Now look at the chord box diagram. You'll see that there's 2 round circles. I want you to take your 2 middle fingers and put it on the 2nd fret on the 4th and 5th strings. So we're going to have our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string and right under that on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. See that? You see how that matches up with the chord diagram on the screen? So with this chord we can play all of the strings and it sounds like this. Now this chord is called E minor. Now minor chords have this dark sound to them, so you see it has this kind of dark sound to them. Now let's get 2 chords for the price of 1. We're going to get an E major chord just by putting our first finger, our index finger, on the 1st fret of the 3rd string. So go up 3 strings and this 1st fret. Now when you're playing these chords, try and get right in the middle of these 2 frets and slightly towards this side of the fret. Just behind the fret is better. And you can play all of these strings and you hear that this chord has a brighter sound. If you take this finger, this index finger off, we have this minor dark sound. Put the finger back on, 1st fret of the 3rd string, and we have that bright major sound again. Okay, great, so we've had these 2 chords already. Now the next chord I want to show you is called an A minor chord. So taking the last chord we just learned, this E major shape with these 3 fingers, I want to take all of these fingers and move them down a set of strings in the exact same shape. So now our middle 2 fingers should be on the middle 2 strings on the 2nd fret, and this index finger should be on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. Now we're only going to be playing the 5 thinnest strings, string 1 through to 5. So what I want you to do is slightly touch this thickest string, which is going to mute that string. So that means when we play, we're only going to hear those 5 other strings. Here's our A minor chord. You hear that dark sound, that minor sound. Okay, again, let's get another chord for the price of one. We're going to put our pinky finger on the 2nd fret on the string underneath, on the 2nd string. So that means we've got these 3 fingers all in a row on the 2nd fret, on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th string. And again, we want to make sure that this thick string is muted, and we're going to play through it. You hear that bright sound, that major sound. So the difference between minor and putting our pinky finger here, major. Now the reason I'm getting you to play with these 3 fingers is because it's quite a tight space, so it's probably easier to squeeze these 3 fingers in there. Okay, so far we've got 4 chords. We've got E minor, E major. Take this shape, move it down. Now we have a A minor. Don't forget to mute that string. And if we put our pinky finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, now we have that A major chord. Now these 4 chords that we just learned are extremely valuable chords to know. You're going to come across these chords time and time again when learning new songs. I just want to show you a couple more chords that are going to make your potential for playing songs even greater. So the next chord I want to show you is a D minor. Now we're going to take the same A minor shape. We're going to move it down another string set, just like we did before. But this time, our ring finger, this 3rd finger, is going to kick out into the 3rd fret. And we're only going to play the 4 thinnest strings. You hear this dark sound again, this D minor chord. Now let's try and find the D major chord. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep our ring finger here, and we're going to switch out this middle finger for the index finger, like that. And then this middle finger is going to go on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. It's going to look like this. And again, just the 4 thinnest strings. See that bright sound, this D major chord? There we go. So we have 3 major chords and 3 minor chords. Now many songs just have these 3 major chords, or just have these 3 minor chords. For example, A major, D major and E major. Many songs have these 3 chords. For example, you can play You Are My Sunshine, which is one of the first songs that I ever learned. You can play 3 Little Birds by Bob Marley, which is a very easy song to learn and one that's very recognizable, one that I recommend that you learn when you're starting out playing guitar. And another example for those of you who are Led Zeppelin fans, you might know the song Rock and Roll, which uses these 3 chords. And also you can learn from that song a very common blues progression that is going to really be useful to know in your guitar playing journey. Now the first song that I teach in my beginner course for guitarists, called Level Up Guitar for Beginners, is 3 Little Birds, and it uses just these 3 major chords: A major, D major and E major. a very simple song to start out with. Throughout the course, I use a very unique approach where I teach you a song using very basic chords, and then I show you how to level up that song using a new technique or new concept. Now hopefully this guitar video lesson helped you out. Again, my name is Shaw for Level Up Guitar, and take care, and no matter what you do, keep on playing.